Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks. Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Social Work, SOSW, Master's Degree. Master in Social Work, MSW, Revised. Second year. MSWE 007 International Social Work. Block 1 International Social Work, Concept, Standard and Regulatory Bodies. Unit 1 Introduction to International Social Work, Concept, Values and Standards. 1.0 Objectives. This unit aims to help you to understand the concept of international social work, various perspectives, and the reasons behind the origin of international social work. Introduce you to the differences between international social work and internationalization of social work education. Acquaint you with values and beliefs of international social work and areas of practice in international social work as well as standards of international social work. 1.1 International social work meaning and concept. The concept of international social work is defined differently by different authors and the concept is ever-changing. International social work is not simply the learning of different models taught and practiced in various countries to develop a comparative perspective, nor is it merely pursuing one's predetermined cultural practices while one is in another country through an exchange program or other bilateral relations. It is gradually evolving into an ideological commitment to seek an alternative worldview, closely related to humanism that focuses on human rights, structural inequalities, sister and brotherhoods, empowerment, self-reliance, democracy, and conservation of the Mother Earth. International social work is a critical analysis of global economic and social forces, taking into consideration the differential impact these have upon nations and communities. Alphonse, George and Moffat, 2008. International social work is a discrete field of practice within social work that seeks to improve the social and material well-being of people everywhere. It is practiced across geopolitical borders and at all levels of social and economic organization. International social work also is development-focused and, as such, much of international social work practice occurs at the local, state, and provincial levels within individual countries, STs, 2015. Due to the changing socio-economic dynamics at the global level, international migration, and the growth of the concept of global village and the need for international collaboration, the concept of international social work has become a dominant theme in the field of social work practice. The formation of the International Association of Schools of Social Work and the International Federation of Social Work in 1928 and 1929, respectively, also provided a major impetus in organizing the social work educators and practitioners throughout the globe and also facilitated in getting associated with international agencies and international development organizations. Social workers have played and continue to play a vital role internationally in promoting humanitarian assistance, post-disaster development and reconstruction, and social and economic development. International social work has long been defined as collaborative, comparative, exchange, or dialogue. Dominelli and Bernard, 2003, Healy, 2001, Healy, Asmoa and Hokenstad, 2003, Lyons, 1999. Barker, 1995, in the Social Work Dictionary defines international social work as the transfer between countries of methods or knowledge about social work, p. 194, and Midgley, 1992, asserts that the most frequently identified sources of ideas and innovations are Great Britain and the United States, p. 23, and Important aspect of this international social work exchange is its focus on professional practice in different parts of the world, Hokenstad, Hinduka and Midgley, 1992, and the development of social work as a profession is a primary objective of international social work, Midgley, 1992, p. 23. Since social work remains a profession with a largely local orientation, it is surprising that despite its growing involvement in international activities, no systematic attempt has been made to examine the common characteristics and diverse forms of the profession and the challenges it faces from an international perspective. Hokenstad et al., 1992, p. 3. International social work is also described as a direct practice activity that takes place through international humanitarian organizations. Through the efforts of these international development agencies aided by private organizations and Western schools of social work, Midgley, 1981, p. 57, social work education based on the Western professional and scientific model of social work with academic training of several years' duration, spread from Britain and North America to widely divergent social, political, historical, economic, and cultural contexts in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The United Nations (UN), with its many commissions and allied agencies, has played a key role in the transfer of Western social work to so-called developing countries through seminars, technical assistance, and exchange schemes. Nagpal, 1993, p.216. According to Brij Mohan, 2012, international social work may be defined as a discursive discipline that employs the knowledge and tenets of social work practice in a diverse, dynamic, and interdependent world. International social work ethics and methodology are designed by the contours of human reality that represent human life as an end in itself in an otherwise divided world. There are three main elements which premise his conception of international social work. 1. Discursive discipline. 2. Knowledge and tenets of social work practice. And 3. The diversity and dynamism of an interdependent yet unjust world. Theorizing international social work is premised on the notion that a theory of social work is both feasible and plausible in contextualized global applications. This formulation posits social work knowledge in the realm of epistemic discovery that involves certain a priori conjectures. Three main premises would validate this formulation. Theory and practice of international social work is fraught with post-ideological contradictions. Social workers' understanding and interpretation of contemporary global realities is shaped by expedient learning rather than sound pedagogy, and theory construction in a malleable field with nebulous constructs is a hazardous but rewarding experience. A comparative analysis, however, validates it as a logical quest for truth. In her test on international social work, Healy, 2001 p.7, defined international social work as follows. International social work is defined as international professional practice and a capacity for international action by the social work profession and its members. International social work has four dimensions: internationally related domestic practice and advocacy, professional exchange, international practice, and international policy development and advocacy. Healy, 1995, reports that a plethora of definitions have emerged, and her own review of the terminologies employed by social workers shows that a large number of different terms are currently used. Some writers define international social work as a field of practice, stressing the importance of specific skills and knowledge to enable social workers to work in international agencies. This definition is the oldest, having been formalized in the 1940s and 1950s. Friedlander, 1955, 1975, uses the term to refer specifically to the social welfare activities of international agencies such as the Red Cross and the United Nations. Healy, 1995, reports that this approach was widely accepted in the past and that it governed the first definition of international social work, adopted by the Council on Social Work Education in the United States in 1957. A variation of this approach defines international social work as social work practice with immigrants or refugees. Sanders and Pedersen, 1984, favor this definition, suggesting that social work education should include more international content to allow domestic social workers to properly comprehend the cultural backgrounds of immigrants and refugees and be more sensitive to their needs. Yet another approach places less emphasis on practice and defines international social work as the contacts and exchanges that take place between social workers from different countries. Midgley, 1990, questions the view that international social work is a distinctive field of practice and argues that it connotes instead a variety of international exchanges. Healy, 1995, 422, agrees, suggesting that international social work is a broad umbrella term referring to any aspect of social work involving two or more nations. Hokenstad et al. 1992, 4. Develop this idea and say that international social work is concerned with the profession and practice in different parts of the world, the different roles social workers perform, the practice methods they use, the problems they deal with, and the challenges they face. This idea comes close to proposing the creation of an academic field of comparative social work that would systematically study social work in different countries. Nagy and Falk, 2000. Yet others take an even broader view and define international social work as a global awareness that enhances the ability of social workers to transcend their preoccupation with the local and contextualize their role within a broad, global setting. This approach finds expression in the proposal by Asmo et al. 1997 to end the international domestic dichotomy in social work and to create a global mindset among social workers that transcends local concerns. Cox and Pawar, 2006, while analyzing the definition of Healy, states that international social work is social work practiced internationally as distinct from locally and nationally. The assumption is that there are situations that are global in nature, thus requiring a global approach. In our understanding of international social work, however, we shall include practice pertaining to global concerns taking place at national and local levels within countries. In the light of these global needs, Healy asserts that social work has the capacity to take international action as an assertion that we also set out to affirm in this text. Healy then lists 4 dimensions of international action, each of which is important. As discussed below. 1.2 Perspectives in international social work. The global perspective establishes the boundaries of the approach and highlights the essential unity of the earth. The global perspective omits no person or population or place. It is all-inclusive, with the implied importance of each person, population, and place being reinforced by the human rights and ecological perspectives, respectively. It is also a unifying perspective, suggesting the basic global village concept, and this unifying element is reinforced by all 3 of the other perspectives. The human rights perspectives represent the key value base of international social work. All aspects of international social work should be guided by those fundamental rights and freedoms that have been globally endorsed within a series of international conventions and declarations. Its core emphasis is consistent with the value base adopted by social work from the beginning. This human rights perspective underpins the global perspective and is elaborated through the ecological and social development perspectives. It establishes in general terms the vision and goals that drive international social work. The ecological perspective reflects the importance of the natural world within which human beings must live and of which they are a part. It is a critical aspect of the environment within which all international development and all social work practice takes place. Although the ecological perspectives is one important aspect of the global perspective, it is treated separately because of its inherent distinctive importance and the danger of being overlooked. The ecological dimension is also one dimension of multidimensional social development, so that the social development perspective reinforces its importance. The social development perspective encompasses a major component of international social work in that much international social work is engaged in the various aspects of social development, while its goals and value base underpin international social work. Whatever the context, and whatever the need for remedial and preventive action, the focus is ultimately on enhancing the social development of the people involved, while protecting or seeking to improve the environments within which they function. Social development is essentially a value-based, multilevel, and multi-dimensional approach to the development of a society, within the ultimate goal being to enhance the well-being of the people of that society. While international social work in the field focuses directly on specific aspects of social development and is often involved with managing the shortcoming of social development in specific situations, it is also the social development perspective that guides that practice as a whole by locating all social work within a broader developmental context. The social development perspective reinforces and is between humanity and nature, and the social development perspective, the overall guide to action or sense of direction underpinning action. 1.3 Difference between international social work and internationalization of social work education. Internationalism is the study of social work programs and philosophies in other countries. It promotes a broad concept of generic social work that enables the social worker to function as a humanist with skills rather than as a specialist with humanistic inclinations. Knowledge of social work in other cultures provides valuable insight into dealing with cross-cultural and ethnic relationships in one's own country. It also suggests common linkages between diverse kinds of social work practices. International experience provides case examples and evidence of new kinds of skills that social workers need in a culturally pluralistic society, and is 1975. Devine, 1928, has a very different view on the concept of international social work. He says, social work is essentially international because it deals with problems which in greater or less degree occur everywhere, and because, steadfastly refusing to rely upon nostrums, panaceas, wholesale, indiscriminately applied remedies, it seeks persistently for tried, rational, scientific, effective and humane measures wherever they may be found. Following are not necessarily international social work: 1. Practice or research on or in other countries. 2. Joint work with practitioners or professors of other countries. 3. International comparative research and analysis. 4. Assistance to the two-thirds world and research on South-North relations. 5. Cross-cultural social work. 6. Devotion to international social work organizations. And 7. Participation in an international conference. Of course, the internationalization of social work is not identical with international social work. International social work is social work which deals with problems caused between nations or across national boundaries or efforts beyond national boundaries to solve those problems. International social work thinks of and acts for the well-being of all people on this earth. It does not attach any special meaning or importance in value to any specific country or people. Tatsuro Akimoto, 2015. 1.4 Values and Beliefs of International Social Work Practice. Estes has described the values and beliefs of international social work as follows. Wide agreement exists within the profession concerning the orienting values and practice as assumptions of international social work. Social, political, and economic events occurring in any region of the world have direct, often immediate, and sometimes lasting consequences on the quality of life and human rights in all other regions of the world. The underlying dynamics of human degradation and social injustice found in local communities often emanate from social, political, and economic forces that are international in character. International social forces both contribute to and sustain social inequalities in particular locales, e.g., the international dimensions of global poverty and discrimination on the basis of race, class, and caste. Only under conditions of peaceful coexistence can local, national, and international social development and, in turn, human development be accelerated. The need to restructure the national and international social orders is particularly urgent to reduce the profound, largely unnecessary, levels of human misery, degradation, and violence that persist in many countries and regions of the world. International social work specialists possess a unique body of knowledge and skills that can positively affect the national and international social situation, especially in helping to find sustainable solutions to recurrent local, state, national, and international social problems. Substantial numbers of international social work specialists acting individually and collectively are continuing the national and international social movements begun by their predecessors toward the establishment of a more peaceful and socially just world order. These orienting values and beliefs are far-reaching and provide a framework for integrating the diverse social change activities engaged in by international social workers. These values and beliefs also bear directly on the purpose, goals, and structure of professional programs of development education. 1.5 The goals of international social work. Agreement also exists in the social work profession concerning the goals of development-focused international practice. The goals of international social work according to Estes are as follows. The elimination of barriers to development which, in every society, have been used to oppress historically disadvantaged population groups, especially women, older adults, children and youth, persons with disabilities, political and economic refugees, persons with mental illness, and persons who have been disadvantaged on the basis of gender, race, ethnicity, poverty, religion, social class, caste, and sexual orientation. The realization of more balanced approaches to social and economic development. The assignment of the highest priority to the fullest possible human development. The fullest possible participation of people everywhere in determining both the means and outcomes of development. The elimination of absolute poverty everywhere in the world. The promotion and protection of human rights for all citizens. The realization of new social arrangements that accelerate the pace of development and assure the satisfaction of basic needs of people everywhere. The transformation of societies toward more humanistic values based on social justice, the promotion of peace, and the attainment of the fullest possible human development. 1.6 Areas of social work practice in international social work. International social work is practiced in various sectors for promoting human rights, social justice, conflict resolution, and international peace, as well as for the welfare of the vulnerable and marginalized sections of the society across the globe. It particularly focuses on child and youth welfare, ensuring criminal and juvenile justice, welfare of the aged, educational development, providing relief and disaster management, sustainable livelihood development, conservation of ecology and environment, food security, housing for all, health for all, prevention of HIV/AIDS and other diseases, rural development, promotion of entrepreneurship, social reform, social policy formulation, reduction of terrorism and racialism. Besides these areas, international social work also focuses in providing social services to people in distress, such as war victims, refugees, orphaned children, and victims of trafficking, as well as the establishment of new social institutions, such as credit unions, mutual aid societies, community welfare centers, and social security schemes. 1.7 Standards of International Social Work. ISW and IFSW has detailed 9 sets of standards in respect of the school's core purpose or mission statement, program objectives and outcomes, program curricula including fieldwork, core curricula, professional staff, social work students, structure, administration, governance and resources, cultural diversity, and social work, values and ethics. In July 2001, both the ISW and the IFSW reached agreement on adopting the following international definition of social work. The social work profession promotes social change, problem solving in human relationships, and the empowerment and liberation of people to enhance well being. Utilizing theories of human behavior and social systems, social work intervenes at the points where people interact with their environments. Principles of human rights and social justice are fundamental to social work. Both the definition and the commentaries that follow are set within the parameters of broad ethical principles that cannot be refuted on an ideological level. However, the fact that social work is operationalized differently both within nation-states and regional boundaries and across the world, with its control and status quo maintaining functions being dominant in some contexts, cannot be disputed. Lawrence, 2001, considered the ambiguities, tensions and contradictions of the social work profession, which have to be constantly negotiated and renegotiated, rather than resolved, to constitute its success and challenge. It is, perhaps, these very tensions that lend to the richness of the local-global dialectic and provide legitimacy for the development of global standards. According to Lawrence, 2001, 12, it is its paradigmatic openness that gives this profession the chance to engage with very specific and constantly changing historical and political contexts while at the same time striving for a degree of universality, scientific reliability, professional autonomy, and moral accountability. Some Asian social work professionals enlarged this definition to emphasize responsibility and collectivity, since they considered that these key elements were missing in the Western paradigm of social work. Additionally, these social workers redefined social work profession as a profession that should bring about social change, promote social stability, enhance harmony and well-being, respect unique cultures and traditions of different ethnic groups and bring about social justice with responsibility and collective harmony. Supol and Jones, 2005 cited in Alphonse et al., 2008. ISW and IFSW also identified the core purposes of social work in the global context. ISW and IFSW have redefined the emerging purposes to include the following. A. Focus on marginalized, vulnerable, and at-risk groups. B. Challenging inequalities and injustices. C. Mobilization of groups and communities to exercise and demand their rights. D. Promotion of policies and programs to protect the well-being and human rights of the affected people. E. Advocacy on issues at local, national, regional, and global levels. F. Engaging in social and political actions to impact on social policies and economic development. G. Enhancing stable, harmonious, and mutually respectable societies that do not violate people's human rights. Supol and Jones, 2014. 1.8 Summary. In this unit, we discussed the concept of international social work, various perspectives relating to international social work, and have traced the reasons behind the origin of international social work. This chapter also highlighted the major differences between international social work and internalization of social work education. The chapter has also briefly discussed about the values, beliefs, and goals of international social work. Besides that, the chapter has listed various areas of practice for international social work. Most importantly, the chapter has discussed sets of standards of international social work relating to mission statement, program objectives and outcomes, program curricula, values and ethics, and other important aspects. In addition to that, the chapter provides various references for further reading for better understanding and conceptualization of the subject. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and